What up, everybody? Sorry I've been gone for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. I haven't had anything to upload, but we do have something today. So let's get into today's video. So as you guys have seen in the last few videos, my Subaru hasn't had any wheels. I've just been on those stock Impreza wheels or legacy wheels or whatever they are, because I sold my GMRs. And I've been looking for some new wheels. I was thinking about getting some MB Battles. I still might, just for another set, and maybe I'll put them on the Cresta or something like that. But we got some new wheels, and if you could see, kind of, there you go. They are GMR Caesars, so they're Minerva reps. They're 18 by 9.5 plus 26, I think. And I choose to run a spacer, so I'm running a 20 mil spacer. So being 8.5 or 9.5, 0 offset-ish, 6 offset, whatever it is, that should allow me to have a good amount of camber and also tuck pretty easy. That's the goal with these. So next clip be tomorrow, the next day, because it's Friday night and I'm about to get home at like 10 p.m. Also, shout out to my boy Alex for hooking me up with these wheels. He was selling his FAWs, so I was able to cop them off him for a good deal. But tomorrow, or the next clip, you guys will see me starting to get the Subaru ready to put these on, and I'll get that fitment dialed. I have a desired camber number in my head. I want to be roughly around like 8 to 10. I feel like that's perfect on these cars. And the fitment for these, hopefully I'm going to be tucking quite a bit. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. My coilovers are kind of ass, and as you can see in there, they're pretty close. It's a little hard to see, but the bottom of the strut is pretty close to the axle, and right now I still need to drop it, I don't know, probably like 1.5 inches or 2 inches or something like that, and that's about what I have before I start to get into the axle boot. So we'll see how close I can get to the fitment that I want. If I can't do exactly what I want, more than likely I'll work a little bit better for myself rather than just like overdoing it. But that's enough talking. Let's actually get into working on this fucking thing. So as you can see, especially from up top, it's poking out quite a bit, so I'm gonna need to put some decent camber. Also, this wheel, if you can see, is like pretty straight, but that wheel is turned in quite a bit, and my steering wheel is off by quite a bit too, so I'm probably gonna have to align this as well. But what I'm gonna worry about right now is I'm just gonna worry about dialing in that fitment the way I want it. And then once that's done, I'll get my my toe plates over there, and I'll actually get to work on realigning this thing as well. So let's get back to making these wheels fit nicely. So I added a little bit of camber, and I also lowered this quite a bit. As you can see, we are actually touching the axle boot right now, which isn't that great, but I'm just gonna kind of see where this lands us right now. Another thing that I forgot to mention that I might do is over in those boxes right there, I have some 15 millimeter spacers as well. I already have this 20 mil on here, but to be honest, this might not be enough to get me the camber numbers that I want with these wheels and the specs that they are. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna test fit this one real quick, see where it gets me, And once I have a better idea of how this is fitting, if I can tuck this with the amount of camber that I want to run, then I'll decide about adding those 15 mils. I really don't want to. I don't think stacking spacers is that great of an idea. But to be honest, I don't really have any other option other than if I rebuild these, and I don't want to spend $1,000 on new lips right now. So we're gonna see what I can do about this. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of camber, but I can also fit my full hand in between here. So that's not exactly ideal. Another thing is, it is nowhere near where I want it to be. I want to be sitting about right here. So that would mean I have to drop that much. And I don't have that much on these coils. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do about that yet. I'm gonna see how much camber this reads at, and then I'll go from there, see if I wanna add these spacers or not. See what I could do, maybe going lower and stuff like that. And yeah, so give me a few minutes. Alrighty, so as you can see, I just cut these studs, not these ones. I already cut these a long time ago, but I just cut these. These are a different spacer than the one that was on there. These are my 20s. These are my 15s. Just the tip was barely touching the inside of the wheel. So I had to cut a little bit off the studs. I didn't cut a ton, but I cut a little bit. A tip that I learned a while ago is that if you're gonna cut studs, always leave the bolts threaded on there when you cut them. That way, when you go to thread them, you can go like this a few times and it'll clean the thread, and like you'll be able to put it on and off and it won't give you any trouble. So make sure to do that. I got these on now, or got these cut, so I'm gonna put that other spacer on and then put the wheels on and see where that gets us. So I forgot to say in the last clip, right now it's measuring at about like 8 degrees of camber, which is ideal for me. And with that spacer, it's a lot better. But as you can see, the height still isn't fixed yet. So I'm gonna take a measurement from about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way down the lip, and from here to see what the gap is. That way I can figure out how much I need to lower it. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna go about figuring out how to get this thing to go lower. I did change the springs in this. They might be a little longer, so I might have to go back to my old springs that were a lot looser, but we'll see. I'm going to mess around with it a little bit, see if I can get it to go lower, because I want to sit fender lip, if not tucking, and this isn't gonna cut it, but also not having any room between my axle and my axle boot isn't helping. So I'll get to doing that and see what I can come up with. Alrighty, so first semi test for all four. I feel like this side on the rear looks pretty good. I could go lower. I think I might add like a couple degrees and go lower. I think the front fitment on this side is also gas. I think that looks sick as fuck. This side is pretty close. I just kind of eyeballed the front. I didn't like get an exact measurement. So it's definitely a lot higher with less camber. So I got to do that on this side. And then this side has a lot more camber. So it's not as close right there, as you can see. But I might keep it. I might even add camber to the other side and then just go lower and then try to tuck to like right here or something. It does get pretty close right here. So I don't know if I'm, and especially like back there, like I think I'm actually sitting on the bumper. Oh no, I've got a little bit of space, but I might mess around with it, see what I could do. I guess I never even checked over here to see what the fitment to the fender looking like. Woo! Yeah, I'll definitely have to add a little bit of camber right there. It's touching back here too. So I think this side will definitely get a little bit more camber. But overall, sorry, this fucking place is a mess, but overall, it's coming together pretty good. The only thing that I have an issue with right now is the front. So I don't think my springs are gonna be a good enough size. I put some stiffer springs on that I got from my uncle, and they were just like generic, like I think they're 7-inch springs or something like that. And I could have swore that the stock Racelands were about the same size, if not. But looking at old pictures on my old setups, like my old Rezacs, I'll put a picture up here, and then my old D9Rs, I'll put another picture here. I felt like I was able to get pretty low, especially in the front, and I never had any problems hitting my axles before. But right now, the only way I'm able to get it this low is I have like an inch or an inch and a half gap between the top of the spring and the top of the strut. So pretty much just I gave all preload off of the spring just to see what I could do, like how I could get it that low. And it's looking like I'm gonna have to figure something out if I want to try and drive it today. That way I could get the springs, like something in there. That way I can have preload, but also keep the strut up, if that makes any sense. Maybe some like kind of washers or something like that. Not for the entire thing. I'm not getting rid of the fucking spring itself, just as like a spacer kind of deal. And, or I just don't drive it today and I wait a week and I get some like 6 or 5.5 inch springs or something like that. But I do think it's coming along pretty nice. I think the camber looks sick. The rear definitely has a lot more, but as you guys saw, I can't really add less camber to the rear without going lower because of where it's touching on the rear quarter panel. So I guess I could take out my spacer, that 15mm spacer that I have. I could do that. I might try that. We'll see how it is. I might leave one side as is and just go lower with camber, with more camber. And then I'll lower the other side without the spacer. So I'll take a little bit of camber out and we'll see how it looks. Because I might want to run square camber, and it looks like, if you can see from here, it looks like maybe the back has 3 more degrees of camber. So I'm gonna get to work on that. I'm gonna do some thinking about what I need to do to space out the spring a little bit, what I can get, see what kind of part stores, or what kind of like hardware stores, what they got and stuff like that. But you guys will see the next clip where hopefully this thing is sitting on the ground looking complete. Alrighty, so we're getting somewhere. I still haven't touched the front, but the rear has less camber now. Pretty close to matching the front, if I'd say so. And I took out that 15mm spacer, and I'm liking where it's sitting. So this side is a little bit above the lip, but I think it looks good overall. All the clearances are pretty nice. And then over here, a little lower, I think I just have to raise this side, but like it's pretty close right there. And it's just barely touching the bumper, but the bumper moves. So, and it's not touching that bracket. So I think I'll be all right. I might still raise this side a little bit, but now we gotta figure out the front. As much as I do love this front fitment, I just don't think it's going to be possible. I just don't know if I can come up with anything besides ordering springs. So I think more than likely what I'm going to do for now is just raise it up back up to where the spring actually has some kind of load on it, and kind of just make it look as good as I can for now. And then we'll pull it off of the blocks in the back and we'll see if we could drive the thing. But we got to align the front first too. All right, boys. So as you can see, busted out the old alignment tool. Got her pretty close. That one's at 75.5. That one's maybe at 75 and like, what would that be? 7/16. So I got it down. I'm just gonna leave the fitment looking like this up front. I wish it was a little bit lower, but until I order new springs, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it to where I want it. So it looks like that on both sides now. It's at least even. And then the rears are looking pretty good. That side. This side might be a little bit lower and it might have a little bit more camber. I'm not too sure. I'll have to pull it outside. That way I can like look at it without all this stuff around me. But I'm gonna put the bumper on now and see if I can get this thing rolling. And then torque down all my lug nuts. I already torqued down all my spacers, so that's all good to go. And then all the camber bolts and stuff like that are all tight, and the collars and stuff. So I'm gonna put the bumper on, and then I'm gonna roll it forward and see if I can get it. I might even just pull it right here in this empty space, and then see if I can get a good look at it and see if everything's like pretty even. Alrighty, so here we are outside, wheels on. It wasn't rubbing too bad. As you can see, I'm a little tight here when I'm turning. It's not terrible, but I'll just have to be cautious of it when I'm taking turns. God, it's so disgusting. But yeah, I think it looks pretty fucking baller. So let's go to the car wash and make this thing not as disgusting. So, first drive, made it here, car wash. It's looking good, but we did not escape without a casualty. So my wheel just kind of, let's see if I can move it. I can't, but my camber bolt came out. So I'm now stuck at the car wash. I'm waiting for somebody to give me some help getting my jack and shit so I can tighten that up. But otherwise, it was all right. I don't know. I felt this when I put these springs on. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, the rear of my car, it's like hella vibrating right now, and I don't really know why. But yeah, other than that, it was fine. There's a small noise on this side. It's just like the wheel rubbing on something, but it just sounds like it's rubbing on like a piece of plastic, so I'm not that concerned. But overall, here it is. It looks pretty sick, so I'll see you guys when it's fixed. All right, well, back at the shop. Kind of an unsuccessful first drive, to be honest with you. I forgot that I used this radiator cap right here on that, so I had a big ass coolant leak too. Forgot about that. But yeah, like I showed you in last clip, this wheel just decided that it wasn't tight enough on the top camber bolt, so it just came right out. Luckily it's not too bad, it was flexing pretty hard right here, but since these are still stock fenders, they're pretty strong. And since it pushed pretty straight on against the lip of the wheel right here, or the lip of the fender right here, it wasn't really gonna bend it in or anything like that. It was just gonna bow it out. And luckily it wasn't too far out, so it didn't go super bad. Another thing is the rear of the car feels like shit. Don't know what it is. When I was in Greeley with the boys a while ago, I put these new springs on, and after I did that and I drove it home, it was like anything after like 35, it starts to like just shake everything and vibrate the car. It's not like aggressive where it's like I'm going like this and like it's aggressive on my steering or anything. It's just the car vibrating, and like all my plastics start rattling and stuff like that. And then it feels like something's binding. I don't think it's axle bind because I've had bigger camber numbers and I didn't feel anything like that. So I don't really know what it is, but hopefully what I just did was somewhat of a remedy. I went into the back and I took some preload off of the springs. I think I added like 1.5 inches of preload or something, and it seemed to help in the front doing that. So I took it off in the back and then just like kind of messed with it so it wasn't as low either, because I was wondering if maybe like the angle of the axle was just like too high when I went too low. And so I tried to lower the spring, that way it sat lower with a longer strut. I don't know how to, it's really complicated to explain what I'm thinking. But hopefully that does something for it. I'm not gonna take it out tonight. I'll probably take it out tomorrow. But yeah, it's back at the shop. Wheels look sick still though. Still need to polish them. As you can see, it's pretty scratched, pretty cloudy. I tested this mag polish right here, and you can see it like right here. Like if you see, like the reflection is like pretty hazy. I did it right here though. Like you might be able to tell the difference from like here to here. It's a little bit more clear. Like I'll do this, and right now it should be a little more clear, not as dirty. I don't know, it's hard to show you, but I tested out this mag polish. Usually I just use black diamond, but I don't know where my bottle is right now, but I'll just be up here or something like that. But either way, I guess I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see what I do, see if I drive it or something like that, see how it feels. Alrighty, so I took it out this morning, see if it drove better, and it's driving okay. It's not better really, but it's, I don't know how to say it, but it's kind of better, but only like maybe like 10 miles per hour. It doesn't shake as much, but I think it might just have something to do with the rear alignment, because when I turn to the left, it's not as bad, like it's not as noticeable. And honestly, sometimes if I turn it a little far enough, it will just completely stop shaking. So I'm wondering if my alignment in the rear is just off pretty bad, and maybe that's just from changing all my suspension and stuff like that. So I'll have to mess with that. I'll do a couple things, see what I can do. But other than that, this is about as good as it's gonna get. So that's it for today's video. One more look at the car, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.